Hello, this is Veronica here. Today I'll be going over qualitative methods in regards to snow day. And first, I will be discussing the program overview, um, talking about the levels of qualitative measurements and discussing potential qualitative design. We'll go over the proposed research questions and bring up validity concerns, and then I'll share my insights on the IRB. So, Snow Day, as I mentioned in my previous presentation, it's a community event that promotes quality of life, and its goal is to bring our residents together and promote a sense of belonging. And for Snow Day, the aspects that will be measured for a qualitative design, the aspects to be measured would be resident experience, the emotions that the event evokes, and how it promotes a sense of belonging at these events. And this would be qualitative because it captures how the people feel. It doesn't really, it's not on a score 0 to 10. It allows residents to speak freely in their own words, and it helps explain why these events succeed or are falling short. So, unlike a quantitative survey, it's going to help us gain a bigger insight and really allow the residents to share how they feel. The qualitative designs, the two that can be considered, are for phenomenology. This is going to be focusing on the lived experience of our residents at the events. It's going to explore how they emotionally connected and socially connected. And then a second option would be a case study examining one specific event. In this case, it would be Snow Day, and studying it in depth using multiple data sources like interviews, surveys, and observations. And I would like to move forward with the phenomenology as this allows us to understand better the shared experiences, while a case study would allow us to drill down more specifically on one event, but I think it's scalable to larger, all of special events within the department. So, the main question that I'd like to propose today with this qualitative study is, how do residents describe their emotional experience and sense of belonging when attending parks and recreation community events? This question is open ended. It's really centered on perception, and I think it fits really well for the qualitative research at hand. So, the data collection methods that will be implemented are on-site, semi-structured interviews at events. I think at the info booth, it would be very appropriate. And then also having it available online through Instagram, through the website, so that we can capture these for all residents to make it as accessible as possible and to create that create the future of the events. So examples of these questions could be, how did this event make you feel? What would make future events feel more welcoming or meaningful? So these semi-structured interviews, it allows for a lot of flexibility. And once again, the online surveys are going to make it more accessible and convenient, and allow us to capture a wider audience. In regards to the IRB, oh, I skipped a slide. Here we are. In regards to the reliability and validity, biggest concern would be the sampling bias. With the on-site interviews, it's going to limit the demographic that we're able to capture, as not all Riverside residents are going to attend these events, which may be an obstacle that we need to address within in the structure. And but with, as I mentioned previously, with the online survey, this is something that can mitigate that issue. Um, and just offering it in different formats within the school district, within press releases, through social media. There are various ways to getting around this so that we can be sure to capture all voices within the community. And with IRB, what I found most interesting was that prisoners were considered to be a high risk population. I completely agree, as they have been historically underrepresented and not adequately protected. Um, so I think it's great, especially as we see shifts with our agriculture. I think it's important to prioritize the United States prisoners' rights. And my second insight was I really valued how the non scientist role on the IRB panel was a requirement to ensure that all voices and public views were going to be upheld within the research. Thank you so much for listening.